Hi guys and girls. Hello everyone. Hi. Welcome back to the channel everyone. I'm James, the color guy, paintpeople.com, all that good stuff. But today I wanted to dive into a classic design dilemma, wallpaper versus paint. What are we gonna do, y'all? Which one is the better choice for your home? So I wanted to weigh some of the pros and cons and ultimately the cost of each one. So just to give you some context, there is a bit of confusion when it comes to wallpaper, so hopefully I'm here to inspire and also inform because there's a lot. So starting with cost comparison, paint is generally more affordable upfront. The thing about wallpaper though is it can offer some long-term cost savings because you're less likely to change your wallpaper. With paint, you're tempted to just repaint if you don't like it, but wallpaper, it's kind of a tedious process, so you pick something typically as an accent that looks great and you live with it for quite a while. It also has a novelty factor to it, I find. High quality wallpaper can really add value to your home, potentially increasing its just resale value. And I found that wallpaper, when done right, can add value to your home, potentially increasing its resale value. Like a really tastefully done wallpaper accent wall just pops, like it looks quite nice. And another benefit that not a lot of people consider is wallpaper can do a great job at hiding imperfections on walls, saving you money on costly repairs. So if you have like kind of a beat up looking wall and you really don't want to go through the process of skim coating it, replacing the drywall, as long as it's level, wallpaper does a pretty good job at instantly just covering all that stuff up. But that being said, wallpaper can be more expensive to install, especially if you opt for those really complex patterns or custom designs that are kind of annoying to line up. For most people, I would recommend professional installation, which obviously can have higher costs. Those costs can vary pretty widely, so it's important to get multiple quotes if you are going down that route and you just want to get a professional to do it for you. There are of course more DIY friendly wallpapers out there that are more just peel and stick, and your mileage will vary, but that's an option as well. Now, in terms of design flexibility, I find wallpaper offers a much wider range of patterns, textures, and colors than paint. This allows you to create a truly unique look, and it's something that's personal to you, rather than just going with one simple color or maybe a faux finish here or there. Wallpaper can give you bold geometric designs, delicate floral patterns, even Versace stuff, which is kind of fun. There's a wallpaper style to suit every single taste. Paint, while limited in patterns and textures, it does offer a vast array of colors. So you can easily create a custom color palette to match your home's decor. It's just a much simpler process because you're picking a color rather than colors within a design. Starting a paint project? You don't need to go to a paint store. Just go to thepaintpeople.com, our shop for all things painting and decorating. Whether you need some supplies or a couple gallons of paint, thepaintpeople.com offers fast shipping and great service to get you started with your painting project pronto. Durability. High quality wallpaper can actually be incredibly durable, resistant to scratching, scuffing, and fading. So that's a big plus. However, if your wallpaper does get damaged, it can be much more difficult to repair or remove. So it's kind of that risk versus reward thing, right? It's durable until it isn't, and then it's a disaster. Paint is generally much easier to repair. If you get a little ding, just put some spackle on that, sand it, and then paint it. If the wall was painted fairly recently, you could probably get away with a little touch-up, like with a little small roller. Or if it's been a year or so, you might have to go corner to corner, but that's still much easier than fiddling around with wallpaper. And the best part about paint is if you don't like it anymore, if you want to change it up, you just repaint. You paint over it. You don't have to remove the wallpaper, clean the walls, make sure it's nice and smooth again, and then reapply it again. With wallpaper, it is a hassle to take off, let me tell you. So the installation time and the effort involved. Installing wallpaper can be time consuming and pretty labor intensive, especially if you're going with those non-pasted wallpapers and you gotta paste it yourself, which I find that is still the industry standard, even with the peel and stick stuff. And it does often require professional installation, or at least a very confident DIY person, like super confident. Painting, on the other hand, generally is a faster and easier process, making it a good option for those DIY people watching. However, the time it takes to paint a room will depend on the size of the space and the complexity of the project. Now, what about environmental impact? Both wallpaper and paint can have environmental implications. To some people, this is a really big deal, so I want to go over it. Some wallpapers contain harmful chemicals, so it's important to choose an eco-friendly option. And I find with paint, there's just a ton of low VOC paints out there, which make them a much healthier choice for both you and the environment. You can even get zero VOC paint, which technically isn't 0, but it's like 0.001 or something. What about personal style and preference? I think this is big. Ultimately, the best choice between wallpaper and paint depends on your personal preference. So consider the overall look you're trying to achieve, your budget, and then of course your DIY skills. I personally love wallpaper in smaller doses, accent walls almost exclusively. So here are some examples of how you can do wallpaper. If you are someone that is intrigued but maybe you don't know how to implement it in your home, check these out. So the first one is a modern minimalism approach. A clean white paint job can create a minimalist and modern look, and then you have this beautiful wallpaper accent wall. Vintage chic you can also do, which is a vintage pattern to add a touch of nostalgia and charm. Or maybe you're living in your grandparents' home and they already have that. So then you can milk that grand millennial vibe all you want. And then of course you can go bold and dramatic. A dark textured wallpaper can create this dramatic eye-catching statement. Or you can go classic elegance and just lean into neutrals, like have a nice warm beigey paint color with subtle trim details, and then a more gentle wallpaper to go alongside it. Now before I let you go, I gotta just give you my personal advice, just away from all the things we talked about. The thing about wallpaper, and I know this working at the paint store, is oftentimes, probably 95% of the time, they're sold as double rolls. Now, why this is important is you're often given the price in single rolls, but then you're forced to buy it in doubles. And why this is an issue for a lot of people is, let's say you're doing a small washroom accent wall. Just one little tiny wall panel. You need about 30 to 40 square feet. Well, great. You find a beautiful wallpaper. It's the perfect choice. A single roll is 50 square feet. Great, you have some extra. Unfortunately, that 50 square foot single roll doesn't exist. You got to get the double roll. So that's a cost not a lot of people take into consideration. This can become especially annoying if you're right on the cusp of a double roll. Maybe you need 100 square feet. Maybe you need 105 square feet. Well, guess what? You got to get 200 square feet worth of stuff. If you are looking into wallpaper, be clear about what you're getting, what you're paying for. Some places will be a bit tricky when it comes to that. Now, I talked to someone who works for a very prominent wallpaper company, and he gave me some insight as to why this happens. Essentially, back in the old days, paint stores and wallpaper stores, they would buy wallpaper in bulk. They would essentially order these double rolls, and the stores themselves would cut these double rolls to size for the customers. That doesn't happen anymore. So now it's unfortunately on the customer to buy in bulk, get the double rolls, and then just deal with it. Bit of a double roll rant. I had to get that in there. Ultimately, whether you choose wallpaper or paint, the most important thing is to select something that reflects your personal style and whatever makes you happy. Both options, they do have their advantages and their disadvantages, so you just gotta weigh the pros and cons carefully and don't make the wrong decision. But I have absolute faith in you. Enjoy designing, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.